Our main reason for looking at beauty here is not to just look at beauty, but to look at beauty in relationship to art. What is beauty? And what is beauty in art? Is all art beautiful just by virtue of the fact that it's art? Is beauty what makes art important to us? Or are there other factors present in art that make it important? If we look at what Google has to say about beauty, we see a combination of qualities such as shape, color, or form that pleases the aesthetic senses, especially the sight. If we ask what are the three principles of beauty, we see that Thomas Aquinas said beauty requires three qualities: integrity, harmony, and radiance. Typically, integrity means the quality of being honest and having a deep inner truth. Harmony is the idea of being connected when all parts work together. Radiance implies a glowing quality, a sense of health. The Egyptian culture defined beauty in its own terms. One of the ways they addressed beauty was to use certain proportions. This gave the Egyptian figures a certain stylized feel, which for the Egyptian culture signified beauty. When the Egyptian culture waned, the Greek philosopher and sculptor Polykleitos wrote a book in the 5th century BCE called the Canon. In it, he defined what beauty is. He said that beauty was rooted in a kind of mathematical precision in the relationship of one part of the body to another part of the body. And it was the balance, the relationship between these parts of the body that created beauty. The idea of defining beauty by proportion is certainly a good idea. However, if we fall into the trap of using the specific proportions of a specific culture, we could end up in difficulty. For instance, if we use the specific proportions of the Greek body, then we're leaving out the proportions of many other cultures. For instance, the proportions of the pygmy culture in Africa is very different than the Greek proportions. This would also leave out many other cultures, such as the Asian culture and proportions of the Asian body. So if we're going to use the idea of proportions, we need to find some universal proportions that work to define beauty. So if we stay away from specific cultural definitions in order to find the big picture about beauty, we have seen that it has to do with integrity, with harmony, with radiance, and with proportion. And of course, the idea of proportion implies order. So is order beauty? In addition, many people see beauty in nature. But is it the order of nature? Or is it the disorder of nature that people recognize as beauty? In fact, is disorder a kind of order? Robert Brooks, Peter Metelsky, and Benoit Mandelbrot devised the idea of fractals. The essence of the idea of fractals is that simple things become complex things. That things in nature are constantly moving to a kind of disorder or complexity. This quality is called self-similarity. and is considered one of the fundamental laws of nature. This fractal self-similarity accounts for the seeming chaos or disorder we find in nature. As things self-replicate, the self-replication has a quality of expectedness, and this is the sense of order. Yet there's an unpredictability within that sense of self-similarity or self-replication, and that's the sense of disorder. It's evident in the evolution of limbs on trees and in the spirals that appear in flowers and shells. It also appears in many of the forms of nature. So fractal self-similarity or self-replication accounts for both order and disorder. And many people say it's the disorder of nature that they find beautiful. Clearly, there are many things we see that most people will call beautiful. We generally understand beauty when it comes to people. We have qualified and quantified beauty in certain terms, and we recognize beauty when we see it in people. And one of the qualities that has been decided as creating beauty, particularly in faces, is symmetry. Or is beauty in a thought, in a sentiment, in an idea? One of the most intriguing aspects of beauty arises from the philosophy of Buddhism. This aspect comes up when Buddhism talks about transcendence. The idea is that when we achieve transcendence, we transcend everything, including beauty. When this happens, everything becomes equal. There is no ugly and no beauty. A blade of grass becomes the same as a fabulous jewel. A clod of dirt becomes as beautiful as the most beautiful gown. Incredibly, when this mindset is achieved, the mindset itself is actually so transcendent of any kind of beauty that it itself is astonishingly beautiful.
I'm always looking for ways to, make people face things that normally they wouldn't want to face. So I think that, to look at that kind of horror, like decaying flesh has actually got amazing colours in it. You can't look at it mainly because of the smell. So if you remove the smell, you can actually look at it and...
So you're consciously showing people kinds of beauty that they would have missed or that repulses them or something?
But you find a beauty in the most unlikely places. I once saw a cow slaughtered in Turkey when I was on holiday once, and they cut its throat in the sun, and it's like the blood comes out, and it's like unbelievably day glow, like the colour of a fire engine. It's just such bright red, and you just really don't expect it. And that, that just colour, it assaults your senses without really giving you time to think. So I think to do that into a painting, you're almost like, you're hijacking people, or you're tricking them into facing things that, they might not want to face. But I think the things that, if you don't think about those kind of things, it means that you don't have as full a life.
Glaubst du nach wie vor an die Macht oder die Möglichkeit der Kunst?
Für diejenigen, die sich dafür interessieren, wirkt es als ein Trost, ein ungeheurer Trost.
Ja, Schönheit ist ein anderes Konzept.
Ja.
Ist das verloren?
Also für mich nicht. Ich möchte es nach wie vor, ist das ein Ideal für mich, Schönheit. Ich kann da auch nichts Schlechtes finden.
Nein.
I'm a poet, but I want to talk about a serious artistic, philosophical, and theological matter, namely beauty. The term seems quaint. It's not a word much used by literary critics or art critics nowadays, except ironically. So, first and most important, we must understand that beauty is not a synonym for prettiness. Beauty is something deeper and more comprehensive. Perceiving beauty, we have the sense of seeing something perfect in its own way, a perfection apparent not only on the surface, but a quality we sense in the very heart of the thing.
I think I care about beauty, but I don't go for it. I hope it sometimes might be in there.
Art must be beautiful. Artist must be beautiful. Art must be beautiful. Artist must be beautiful. Art must be beautiful. Must be beautiful.
You see, the thing is, you're sort of equating the reaction of the people and the value of their work. It's a totally different thing. No matter what people say, when the work is created, that has a vibration that they cannot kill. The vibration of music and art is extremely, extremely strong.
Since the mid-1900s, another approach to beauty has captured the hearts and minds of artists. And that approach is known as kitsch, an approach that tries to amalgamate bad taste and good taste. For whatever reason, many artists have become captivated with this approach. The question might be asked, why this interest in bad taste? Perhaps it's something that reflects 20th and 21st century culture. The idea of making something beautiful out of something tawdry and outside the realms of normal good taste is certainly an aspect of beauty in today's culture and should be thought about.
I suppose it is over the top. Its colours are a touch sickly and sweet, and some people will certainly dismiss it as a piece of kitsch. But I like it, and I like it in a way that seems to have quotation marks around it, as if I like it despite what it is. Kitsch is a quality that modern art goes looking for deliberately, puts it up on a pedestal and confronts us with the vulgarity and tawdriness of our own tastes. No one more so than this intriguing aesthetic troublemaker, Jeff Koons.
I believe in acceptance, and the highest state, the highest realm that art can take you is to acceptance of everything. The only way that I know about entering the realm of art is to just follow your interests and to focus on them. And that's the only thing that I do.
In the end, beauty in art can boil down to many things. It can be the beauty of an enigmatic smile, the beauty of color, the beauty of looseness. Artists have tried to make death beautiful, to find the beauty in texture and shape, or in the invention of strange beings. They've tried to make beauty with the tawdry world of a Paris cafe, in humor, in technology, in drips, in the study of character, in memory, in the mind that questions, in the mind that is original, in kitsch, in the unorthodox mind, in abstraction, so in summing things up, we can see that beauty is a very complex issue. It tends to elude all final definitions. There's beauty, and there's beauty in art, and the two things may be quite different. It can have personal as well as cultural definitions. It can be something physical that we see, or something in the way we think. It can be defined in technical ways, or just be something that we feel. In the end, I think most people would agree that beauty is important in art, yet it's not the only thing. If it's not beauty that drives art, what else can it be? Perhaps it's just simply that an artist has something to say, that they want to express some personal view about life, that an artist wants to be innovative and original, that an artist has a personal issue they want to bring to the fore. Perhaps if beauty isn't important, the artwork can be just interesting. And if it can't be interesting, perhaps it can be pertinent.